Hi, my name is Nick. In this demo video, we're going to set up Passwordless MFA for Windows computers that are not domain joined and that are using shared local users. The use case might be a small organization that has a bunch of computers but doesn't have a domain controller. And the organization wants to protect these computers and applications running on these computers with desktop passwordless MFA. So in this video, we're going to go through step-by-step guide that administrator would do if he were to set up the use case like this. So first, let's go to our documentation and navigate to MFA workstation section and basically find the section for Windows computers with local users. We're going to go through this guide and set up integration for these computers. So first, we're going to go through prerequisites, and we will see that today IDEMIUM supports Windows 10 and Windows 11. The only requirement is that all these workstations need to have TPM enabled. Trusted Platform module needs to be enabled so that we can save smart cards and certificates that are used for user login. I have my Windows 11 workstation here that has TPM enabled. We also provide some links to check if you have a TPM, and if it's not enabled, there are some guides for how to enable it. So the second thing is we need to create local user accounts. We're not going to be using this workstation in dedicated user mode. So what that means is multiple users will be accessing this workstation. And since this computer is not domain joined, we can't use domain accounts, so we have to enable local accounts on this workstation. And if this workstation is used by multiple people already, that means these local accounts exist. So if I go to my settings and I go to accounts and look at all the users, my local account is Nick, and I also have 2 accounts for Alex and Michael enabled here locally on this workstation. So the first thing first, we need to create these users in IDEMIUM local directory so we can control passwordless MFA access. So I navigate to my IDEMIUM admin portal. I go to users user management section. These are all my users that I'm managing as part of this tenant. And what I'm going to do right now is I just simply created a user for Alex Jones. Typically, I would provide the corporate email address and then personal claims that Alex will need to verify, such as phone number or email. But then in this case, for simplicity, I just put in his personal email address in his corporate email address field. So what that means is when Alex will install a mobile app and verify this email address, he will be able to onboard into my organization. So I saved the record, right? It's an active user record right now, but the user has not been onboarded yet. So obviously we don't have a mobile ID tied to this user record just yet. So the next thing is we will now go ahead and install IDEMIUM desktop application on this workstation. So I already downloaded this executable on my machine. So what I'm going to do is to just launch this executable on this workstation. And as a first step, we will just need to approve the installation of all dependencies that IDEMIUM desktop client requires. And we will go through simple installation. We'll just choose the directory path where the application will be installed, and then we will start installation for the client. As you can see, the installation is done. And right now I'm launching this client. As an admin, I will need to configure this client and pair this with the cloud, IDEMIUM cloud portal. So the first thing I do, it's very simple. I enter the URL of my IDEMIUM tenant. I choose how the users will be authenticating into this workstation. They can authenticate using the badge, and that's a separate use case for us, which is RFID-based single sign-on. In this case, we're looking at the demo of how users will scan the QR code to log in into this workstation. So I click next. Since it's not a domain joined computer, it asks for admin password. It's only stored locally to generate a virtual smart card. It's not sent to IDEMIUM Cloud. If it were a domain joined machine, we would not ask for a password. So let me enter my admin password. And now, as a last thing, I will need to pair this workstation with the cloud. So I launch my IDEMIUM application. So as you can see, I'm sharing my iPhone as an admin, right? What I'm going to do right now is to scan this QR code. I will see the name of the machine, which is Windows 11 local. So it's a local machine. It's not joined to a domain. And I will approve pairing of this workstation. So we will now generate virtual smart cards, install the application, and register this workstation with our cloud. So now application is installed. As a user, I can sign out. And we will see the QR code. So admin can log in into this workstation right now, right? I can simply scan, approve my login, and I will be able to log in into this workstation as an admin user, basically as Nick, right? So now let me log out of this workstation so we can see how Alex is going to sign in into this workstation. So as we go to IDEMIUM portal, we will see, if I go to desktop MFA, I will see that now Windows 11 local machine was registered. And the last step for us is to share this workstation with other users, right? As I mentioned, the workstation can operate in dedicated mode, so only I as Nick can access this workstation. But we're going to be operating this machine in shared users mode. So we need to, IDEMIUM offers you capability to control who has access to this workstation. So you might say only Alex and Nick have access to this workstation and Michael cannot access this workstation. So right now, if I look at this Windows machine, I will see that it is shared with all users by default. All right, we have an option to share workstations. If I go to settings in the admin portal, as you can see, I enabled sharing, and upon the application creation, I share this application with everyone for the purposes of simplicity. Okay, so if I look at our documentation portal, everything is set up, right? We verified the prerequisites, we created local user accounts, we created Alex's account in a cloud directory, installed application, and made sure this application is shared with everyone. So now let's see what is going to happen when Alex needs to access this workstation. So let me remove this iOS device and I'll show you Alex's Android device. Okay, so what Alex is going to do, Alex is going to install IDEMIUM mobile application. And now let's set the application up. So it's just a quick welcome screen here. I choose the region, which is United States, and I enable biometrics with my fingerprint. So we generate the crypto keys. Now Alex enters the email that we created in the cloud directory. So Alex can verify this email. So let me obtain the code for this verification. So it's 480881. Right, successful. We don't need to verify the phone number. We can skip it. We will save this to Google Drive. This is the recovery QR code. And now I will allow the notifications. So now what I'm going to do, I'm all set up, right? As you can see in my profile, I verified my email. It's now tied to this mobile device on Alex's phone. And what I'm going to do right now is to basically go and scan this QR code. If I log into this workstation, I allow the geolocation so that the location of my device and mobile can be used to show on the approval screen. And now I click approval, and I approve this with a biometric reader. So as you can see, two things are going to happen. First, Alex got onboarded into our system. If I basically go to user records, I will see that Alex was onboarded. He is onboarded right now. This is the ID of his device, and crypto keys were tied to his user record in the cloud. The next thing is that, as you can see in the mobile application, there's a record for the workstation, which is Windows Local, which is basically now Alex has access to this workstation. And the last thing, the workstation is asking for his account, because it now needs to know what local account to be use to pair this device with. So Alex enters his credentials one last time and clicks enter. So now we will create a virtual smart card for Alex, and now Alex will have access to this workstation. As you can see, this is the first time Alex is logging in, so Windows takes a couple minutes to prepare his account. And now it's almost ready. And as you can see, I'm logged in into this workstation. So if I log out as Alex right now, so next time I log in, I won't be needing any passwords. I just scan this QR code and I approve login with biometrics, with my fingerprint, and I'm accessing this machine. So if Michael were to do the same process, Michael would set up his mobile app, pair his device to his workstation, and now he will be able to log in into the workstation as well. So if you look at the mobile device and click on three dots here, oh, it's not showing, but then we show you the one-time code that can be used to log in into this workstation if machine is offline for some reason. So the last thing I wanted to say is that if you need to disable the password-based login to enable and secure access only with passwordless MFA, we can also do that so that when the device is paired, there is no way Alex or Michael can use password anymore. Only the admin who installed this application will be able to use this, this password. So this is very useful for small organizations such as dental clinics or law offices where there's a requirement to protect computers with passwordless MFA or secure MFA, and then there's no domain controller, and then there's no need to manage domain controller, so you can simply install IDEMIUM desktop application on these workstations, ask users to enroll into passwordless MFA, and securely pair the devices with their credentials when they log in for the first time. So this completes our demo. If you have any questions, let us know. Navigate to docs.idemium.com to learn more, or go to idemium.com and request a demo, and we'll be happy to tell you more about our product. Thank you.